Hey, what's good, everyone? Welcome to another reading. I hope you're all doing well. This is gonna be a reading on you. So I'm not sure if I've titled a reading like this before, but yeah, kind of. I was just getting the vibes today of like kind of a touch in with you. Maybe something that you need to know, maybe something about your character or your identity. You know, along those lines. So yeah, I guess as always, pile number one, pile number two, and pile number three. Feel free to pause the video before we get stuck in. I'll give you kind of a little cleanse today with my little tuning fork because I've got it nearby. Yeah, everyone listening. I don't think this is too loud, so you don't have to be too careful with your audio. But I'll kind of just give you guys a cleanse. It's really cool. I was picking up on the vibration. There's no, I'm not sure how the camera's actually recording this, but there's no way this fork was vibrating as crazily as the camera made it look. Yeah, it's not doing that in real life. That's a message in itself, actually, isn't it? How something is perceived and how it looks with our own eyes. It just shows that we're in some kind of an illusion. I've never noticed that before. I'm sure I've used this fork in other readings, but if you're not seeing that, like as I'm recording this, I can look up and see the camera, right, or what you're seeing, and in the screen at least, I can see the fork is like doing this, when in real life it's really not doing much. It's vibrating like really like at small scale, but in the camera it's like earthquaking. I'm laughing because I think that's just that's like a funny analogy for like us humans, like being down our spirit guides. Our spirit guides are probably looking at us all weird, like, because for us it feels like this, and they looking at it and they see this. I'm like, why the hell are they being such a bitch for? Because for us it feels like this. They can hardly see anything moving. Anyways, let's get stuck into part number ones. Part number ones. Watch the intro. If you skipped, watch the intro just because it's funny. Damn, paper's a little bit dusty. Need to clean this desk. Could be a message for you. Pile number ones. We're gonna roll with that. Dusty, like maybe you've let some things set that you maybe shouldn't need to set. I'm getting the vibration there of yeah, it's funny, it's like when I'm onto something, I've become more, that's one of the blessings of this channel and doing these readings, is I've been able to hone in my own intuition. So anyone who's watching these videos, one of the pluses or benefits of starting your own YouTube channel or just your own readings is that you train, you practice. So yeah, like when I'm speaking my quote unquote truth, it's almost like a vibrational thing, which I think was always there, but I've just become more aware of it. And I was just getting that kind of vibration coming through now when I was talking about the dust. I was getting kind of a message, pile number ones, of like, there's a time to let things go, if you like, or there's a time to let things settle, and then there's a time not to let things settle. I know that's quite ambiguous, but I think the dust is a good um, metaphor for that, because it's like what spirit is kind of poking us at is like dust is never good when it sets, you know. Dust setting in a environment is never a good thing, you know. Um, Now, don't get me wrong. Maybe like in very rare circumstances, dust might look good for the aesthetic of something, or like when you're purposely trying to make something look old or spooky, even dust can be maybe useful then. But generally, dust is a build up of dirt, or I think I'm not sure how factual it is, but I heard a lot of dust is made from dead skin, our dead skin. So generally, you know what I'm getting at here. Like some things are never good when they set, and it just reminds me of kind of like almost speaking your truth, or um, settling something might be in your energy. This might be something you are coming into, because that's the name of this reading, you. So there's maybe a understanding here of um, knowing when there's things that should set, should let things settle. I'm getting an example here of like when you're in an argument with someone, let the emotions die down, let the tempers die down, and then talk it out. You're letting it set then. And then there's other times where it's almost like the the thing coming out is toxic, it's dirty, it's dust. That should never be setting on your clean Apple laptop. That should never be settling on your beautiful cutlery that you're using to eat with every day. Do you see what I'm saying? It's like there's certain. I think the cutlery is probably a better example than the laptop, because I don't know. I think everyone's laptop gets a little bit dirty every now and then. Mine definitely does, but the cutlery is a better example, right? It's like you don't really want to open up them kitchen drawers and see a load of crust and dirt on your cutlery before you eat it, before you eat with it. So let's get this straw in. On the go. Before I just talk to you forever. Got a nice simple reading today. I like these ones. Yes, one would say that it's touching on feminine energy, probably. I don't think that's really important to this reading. Um, so what do you see? What do you feel, pile number ones? So I understand that there's probably going to be also, like, I'm not sure if I'm receiving that from this audience, how that's coming through. But Spirit kind of just told me to talk on the fact that you've called it you, so people are probably going to be like personally identifying with this. So obviously, just a heads up that this is not meant to reflect you physically, but more on a trait level. So if you're a geezer watching this, thinking, "Oh damn, what the hell's he drawing a woman on the page for?" You know, don't take these things literally. Although sometimes it is literal. In this case, definitely not. So masculines watching this, you want to just associate this with your feminine energy. Or, the blessings of intuition is that you may be just getting a message on someone else, although the reading's called you. It might be you understanding someone else. Look, God just works in mysterious ways. The message comes through how you need to hear it. So, just giving a little disclaimer there, don't take this too literally. But, there's features here which I'm sure apply to you. I'm sure they apply to you. For example, this character is quite curvaceous. Gives me vibes of like fertility. So I'm going to give some key words here. Fertility. Kind of healthy, to be honest, like something healthy about this character. Like I imagine this character to have kind of like clear skin or good skin. Like good skin. I also just got through there with the good skin. You could maybe hear by the way I repeated myself. The reason I did that is because I got the download through, which was like, compare that to tough skin. And again, I guess it depends on where you're listening to this from. But at least in the UK, we have a saying of a tough skin means someone is, somewhat hardened. They can take a lot. That's what tough skin means. I'm not sure wherever you're from if you use that same saying. But here I almost got like good skin, like clear skin, almost healthy skin, and for some weird reason it was kind of touching on the fact of like there's different types of tough skin, There's the tough skin of like building like callus on your hands, or like hardened bones type. I know that's a completely different part of the body, but there's that kind of tough skin. But then Spirit is saying there's the tough skin of healthy skin. I guess it's almost talking about a pure feminine version of that, which is like it's protected because it's healthy. It's not protected because it's tough. I'm getting like Spirit's giving me the analogy. This is really deep, by the way. I hope I don't lose you, pile number ones, but try and bear with me here. I don't know why we're going down this rabbit hole, but maybe it's explaining you. Maybe this is what Spirit wants you to learn or integrate into your thinking. Spirit's given me the analogy of an apple, right? And gosh, this one is really good. I'm gonna try and pause on this myself. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, God. Spirit's giving me the analogy of an apple, right? And it's showing me two apples. One of the apples is protected because the apple has really tough skin, so it's hard for it's got really thick skin. Sorry, really thick skin. I think that's what I was trying to say before. If I didn't say that tough skin, I meant thick skin. If someone's got thick skin, I'm getting a bit jumbled with my words here, but hear me out because the analogy is good, and you probably know where I'm going with this, part ones. But you've got two apples. One apple is protected because it's got thick skin. So the insects and stuff, they can't really get into the core of this apple because its skin is so tough and thick. And then you've got another apple, which is just really healthy. It hasn't got particularly thick skin, but it's really healthy. And if you know anything about gardening, insects and disease usually goes for the fruit and the vegetables which are weaker, which are a little bit vulnerable, which are a bit easier to get inside, and they're already scarred, they're already bruised. So you've got this analogy here, a beautiful one, of two apples of two different characters, but they're both protected in different ways. One is protected because it's got thick skin, which is almost explaining the masculine energy. And then you've got another one which is just healthy. So the bugs, the bacterias, they're almost repelled by this other apple because it's healthy. It's a hard apple to penetrate because it's just healthy. It's strong, but it's not tough. It's not tough like the boots, like leather boots. It's tough because it's radiating. And poem number one, I think that's your reading. I'd say pause on this and see if you get anything more from this image. There was something else quite beautiful here with this character seeming to hold something in their hands, but I wasn't inclined to actually put something in there. I was tempted to just throw a heart in there, but I want you to pause on that for a little bit, part ones, and see if you feel inclined to put something in there, what image makes sense to you. I'm also getting an egg timer in her hands. You could maybe see a cup or a chalice. You might see a cat or an animal, some form of animal. What kind of comes to your mind when you look at that? And then let that take you down the rabbit hole. What does that symbolize? Right, part ones, thank you for being here. If you liked the video, please do remember to comment, and subscribe. Check out the If You Pause website, ifyoupause.com, and I'll see you in the next reading. Take care. Okay, pile number 2 is about you. About you. Okay, pile number 2 is, what do you see? What do you feel? What do you see? What do you feel? I think this is a beautiful one. I'm not sure what energy you get from it, but it almost reminds me a little bit of, I can't really remember the movie, but it reminds me of a little bit The Green Mile. I think it's called The Green Mile. And the guy's in prison, and it reminds me of like I can't remember if there's this little mouse that he's got that he brings back to life or something. I don't know if that's the story. Sorry, y'all. I might be completely getting it confused, but it's got that kind of vibe of it. It's like, I'm not sure if it's like the Friendly Giant kind of vibe. I'm not sure if you're getting this part too, but that's kind of the energy that came through, and it doesn't matter if you're masculine or feminine watching this. These are just some traits that you could take away with you. So what that energy is that there's something quite important here, which is like a funneling of energy. You could almost even say positive energy, light energy, that when you kind of almost diagrammatically evaluate this, I know that was a bit of a mouthful, but when you diagrammatically evaluate this, you can see that this energy actually is coming in through like the heart chakra area. So however you view chakras or those energy portals, one may say, which I do believe, that they don't just come in through one way, like they can come in through the front and the back. They can come in and out like a vacuum. They can go out and in, and it's almost like you're breathing. And what I'm seeing here is an energy coming in and giving life to this thing, or passing on that energy, passing on that love, put simply. They're able to channel in this love and almost like sorry for me getting so passionate there, but it's like almost wrap that energy up, almost present or wrap it, curl it, like sushi. So something quite important here is that we're talking about you here, so we're not just talking about a person who intakes and gives out. There's some form of wrapping, presenting. You could almost argue, almost like condensing it. Which is a character trait which you're embodying. So, because that is the masculine energy, well, I think let it apply to how it applies. Spirit's kind of giving me this challenging task here, though, of kind of how would you define those in masculine and feminine traits. And I'm not sure if I'm equipped to do that, really. Because the only thing that is coming to mind is the masculine would be producing this loving gift. And the feminine would be maybe like emitting. This loving gift. And that's what I mean. That was a little bit too deep for me, or a little bit too difficult to put this image into feminine and negative, positive and negative, feminine and masculine. Bit too difficult. But I think we kind of know the general gist of it. Maybe that's something for you to just integrate. It's maybe not even important, the masculine and feminine here, but maybe just you, because that is the name of this reading after all. Is like, how are you doing this? And you know, kind of sit on that. Maybe even give yourself the pat on the back. It's like this channel is probably a version of doing that, isn't it? So that's easy for me, but like for you, what is your thing of doing this energy? Spitting all over the place. Probably did that about 10 minutes ago. Who knows? Part 2 is just sit on that and see if there's. I feel like, just to end this reading, I feel like there's maybe something that you've slept on. In terms of the way that you're doing this. Yeah, that's what I'm going to leave you with, is that you may be even doing this in more than one way, and Spirit wants to just not only give you the pat on the back, but wants you to give yourself the pat on the back for maybe executing on this and doing this. So pile number 2, so that's your reading. If you enjoyed it, please do remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Check out the If You Pause website, ifyoupause.com, and I'll see you in the next reading. Take care. Alright, pile number 3 is, I got a colour come through actually before we even started, which was red. For some of you, that's going to be like, what the hell? I was just in my red car. What the hell? I just bought myself a red top. And then some of you are going to be like, that don't mean shit. Until you finish this reading. And you see about 4 red cars in a row. Or you start scrolling on Instagram and like, all the pictures are red. That's probably just the algorithm listening to us. It's funny though. Okay, part 3 is let's get a drawing. Let's get a drawing out for you. Can you hear the birds? It's kind of mixed in with cars, but it's lovely to be able to hear the birds in the sea. That's probably a message for you as well, to be honest. Just sitting on the energy. Nearly put my damn face into the camera there. Hope it didn't catch. I got so focused. Which is a very important part of this reading, I might add. And Thank you, Spirit, for kind of just reminding me of that. I feel like for some of you, this is going to be a reading that really, really resonates with some of you, and loses some of you, sadly. And I know that from the start of the reading when I was talking about the red. So I don't know, sadly, maybe if that red kind of didn't resonate with you, it probably isn't your reading. I know that's quite a blunt thing to say, but it's coming through. So damn, like, what a complex reading again. There's quite a lot going on here. I would have loved to leave it just like this, without an arm, without a hand, which that's meant to be. But there was just, there was more, 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 there was more. And in fact, I feel like I could have continued this. I wouldn't go as far as infinity, but at least maybe 6 more. So what I'm seeing here, let's explain first the positioning of this person. So this person, for one, underpinning the whole thing, is hyper-focused. Hyper-focused. Hyper-focused and really like hyper-balanced as well. Like when I'm looking at this image, I'm like, well, to be honest, when I was looking at it, there wasn't much that I felt at all, actually. Apart from almost like awe, kind of being in awe. Like when a ballet dancer does their thing. At least for us guys. When you see like a chick, like a girl, a woman, just doing the ballet dancer thing. At least someone like me, I'm way too stiff for that. I like to keep active, but I think most guys, if they're honest with themselves, are somewhat of in awe, like, because, like ballet, for example, is kind of it is quite a good example of how the genders are different or can be different. So obviously there's male ballet dancers as well, but they, like, I don't know, we're in strange times at the moment. But can everyone agree that when a male ballet dancer dances and a female ballet dancer dances, it's different? It is, yeah. It's different. Even when the male is doing it elegantly, there's something different. There's like that bit more lightness on the toes of the feminine doing that thing. And look, I guess, as I said at the start of this reading, I might have lost some of you here, and that's okay, but that's the analogy that's coming through here. It's like the female ballet dancer, there's an awe about it, at least in the eye. I'm not sure, I can't speak on how feminines view that, but like when a ballet dancer gets on their tiptoes and walks like they're not walking on their tiptoes, there's something, at least in the simple male mind, I'm not saying it's for all of us, but there's something in the simple male mind which goes, wow, like, that's different. Like, I can't do that, and I don't even want to do that. And obviously, like, I don't want to even get into my personal life here, but let's switch that. But um, I'm not saying here that when a feminine does ballet, there's no hard work involved. This is a big part, right? What I'm not saying is that the feminine is born and she just walks on her tiptoes. Like, I've come into contact with, or even had relations with uh, girls who can do this, and I know that there's a lot of I'm clicking because like there's a lot of effort, there's a lot of pain that goes into something looking so effortless. That's what I'm trying to say. And this is really your reading, pole number threes. This whole explanation of what I'm saying is you. You might not even see it in yourself. Hopefully you do, because that would be a travesty. That would be a tragedy even. That would be a tragedy for you not to even see your own pain, your own hard work that you put into something that looks effortless. But that's it. That's kind of part of the underpinning here of this reading, is that yes, it's hyper focused, but there's an energy here of awe. There's an energy here of when there's a certain emotions that people feel when they look at something. It may be anger, it may be passion, it may be sadness, it may be depression, it may be fear, but sometimes that feeling is just wow. And that's what I'm trying to explain here in a very long-winded way, but kind of a very necessary way. So, part number one, there's this skill or talent maybe that you have, which you put a lot of effort into, and it comes across quite effortless. And another detail to pay attention to is, so this arm that I didn't really want to add with the hand was almost like it actually reminds me of like, so it's almost like a finger pointing, but it actually reminds me, I can't remember of what he does, but in Kung Fu Panda, he's got this little someone who's listening to this is going to be screaming at the video saying, I know what he says. It's like skadoosh or something like that. It might not be skadoosh, but it's a word like that. Skadoosh or something like that. And I'm not sure if he pinches the person or something, but Kung Fu Panda, he has this little, like you could call it a special move that he does. And that has this ultimate power. And that's a little bit like what we're explaining here. Although I wasn't thinking of Kung Fu Panda at all, because to be honest, this feels almost like more of like a point. So it'd almost be like a better example. You could keep it simple and just say it's like a pinch. But to be more specific with this, it's almost like when people use that analogy of like I can't even remember the analogy now, but it's like poking. When you can poke the reality, I think there's a famous like Steve Jobs quote where it says when you can poke, the world or something, and it make a dent in the existence, or make a dent in the world. It's kind of making a dent, but it's not. It's almost more gentle than that. It's almost like another good example of this would be the Matrix movie, where Neo pokes the mirror, and then the mirror actually somewhat consumes him. It would be more of the fact of that if he poked the mirror and he consumed it, or if he poked the mirror and he created such a ripple, that like it would be the equivalent of like creating more more of him, a little bit like what Mr. Is it Mr. Not Mr. Anderson? Is it Agent Smiths? You know how they can replicate themselves. It's almost like that. Different energy, because that's not what's drawn here. It's almost like just saying that it's. I'm comparing it to the Agent Smiths, because they are replicating himself, and what this is replicating is not themselves in the body, but it's like their wave. They're replicating their wave. I'm just thinking in the movie, I can't even remember some of the Matrix movies now, but there's definitely a scene in the Matrix, definitely the first one, where Neo actually jumps into the agents and explodes them from the inside, you know. So again, that's kind of a little bit more of that analogy, is that you are able to put your energy, you know. It is somewhat of that masculine energy, if I'm honest, because it's putting in, it's not intaking. Do you understand? I just wanted to make that clarification. This energy is, it's like the wand, basically. It's the wand with the finger, you know. So yeah, poem number 3 is, I kind of feel like that's your reading. There's like I said, there's almost an elegance to what you do, an awe. I'm in awe of what you do. Energetically, I've got no idea what it is in person. I ain't gonna lie to you, but that energy I can feel, and that's amazing. So keep doing that. I did say, like, a little disclaimer for some of the other piles is, obviously feel free to pause the video and see if you get anything more from this. But this reading is about you. And I know some people out there might be taking it a bit literally. If you're a geezer watching this thinking, I'm not this elegant ballet dancer that Zed's talking about. Well, for one, you might be. It's like we all embody this. I embody it too. Like, that's maybe something that I need to sit on and meditate on myself. But even if you can't see it in yourself physically, there's a sprinkle of that soul in you. And without going off on a tangent, I was just about to say, although these readings are about you, they're not necessarily to take literally in a physical way. So despite your gender, these are more character traits. I do feel like even the physical traits, we can relate to ourselves in this. So an equivalent of like a masculine reading this is like, okay, I'm not that light on my feet or elegant, but where am I elegant in that way? Maybe it's when I'm being creative or drawing, or when I'm just out in nature being, you know. There's something I can relate to about that. It may not be the number one trait of mine, but it's there somewhere. Something might be that you pick up on this with like, this character seems a little bit fashionable, for example. I consider myself pretty fashionable. I'm not really into fashion per se, but I got some swag on me. So you might be a geezer watching this going, I'm not fashionable. And like spirit might be saying to you, maybe you are, you know. I'm just giving examples here of like the contradictions that you might make by watching this, and you might be a feminine watching this too and go, well, do you know what, I'm not that kind of figure, or you know, you might be making these contradictions in your head too. Maybe not. Maybe you're just very open-minded and these readings come very easily to you. But I'm just helping people to become actually more self-aware, if anything. So, like I said, you might be a geezer watching this going, I'm not fashionable at all. I don't care what the hell I've got on. And to that, spirit might be going, like, for example, I used to be a bit like that until I embraced it more. And I realized just because I didn't care what I wasn't wearing, doesn't mean that other people didn't appreciate it or find it nice. So actually, this is a good example of making something look effortless. Sometimes there's things that we do which we don't care about, and sometimes they're our biggest. Sometimes they're our biggest gifts. Oh man, fuck's sake! I'm gonna be scratching my head after this reading. Good luck, paraphrase. But look, that's a little gem I'm gonna leave you with. The guy watching this going, man, I don't have much fashion sense or whatever. Um, you know, that's not me. There actually might be something really quirky or cool with how you're putting something together that you might not actually, you know, you might not see, but other people might see, and it might just even just be the way that you don't care is attractive, you know. Just I know I am rambling a little bit, but like just to stay on fashion, for example, when you actually think about fashion at its core, the best fashion is actually, I guess, in my opinion, like the most authentic, the most raw. Like you can probably think of any fashion trend ever, and what you'll realize is that it actually comes from something raw and authentic and effortless. So this is just something to leave you with. Pile number 3, something to think about. Even something like fashion, like think about when kind of that cargo army style is in fashion. What's it called? Like you know, the army print and stuff like that. Do you think like army troops are thinking about, yeah, let's make this fashionable? No, but there's something that was raw, functional, and stylish about it by just it being its raw sense. And that might seem like an obvious one for you, but like that really does go into pretty much all types of fashion when you unlayer it. You could even argue, I'm not sure how in it is at the moment, but like there was a sense of for quite a while that being a little bit like homeless looking was cool, a bit rugged, a bit like your clothes a bit torn up. I know like All Saints, the brand, kind of milked that to there was nothing left. But think about that, you know, like it's because somewhere along the lines, someone saw someone who was effortlessly rugged and thought, damn, that person's actually cooler than the person who's really, really trying, you know? And I just believe, like, I can't give you a metaphor for every single example, but the same goes for someone in a suit. Probably had some form of function to begin with, at least elegance. And then all the way back to like simple garments, like t-shirts and trousers and things like that. A lot of these garments actually originate from like how Can we make this comfortable, easy to make? Like that, it comes back to, in one way or another, it comes back to this effortless thing, almost this effortless mistake, you know? And Spirit wants you just to sit on that path through. So you've got a lot to digest in this reading. I hope it was helpful for you. I hope I didn't lose you completely. There was parts where I even lost my damn self. So I hope you was able to take some gems away from this path throughs. If you like the reading, please do remember to like, comment and subscribe. Check out the If You Pause website, ifyoupause.com, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.